Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Prosperity Mindset Call. Today, I'm going to focus in on what happens after a broadcast. First of all, these are the steps that should lead up into the broadcast, but I want to talk about what happens, what should happen after a broadcast, what should happen after our noon, our 4, our 7, and our 9 broadcasts. It's very critical for all of us to really utilize those broadcasts because the broadcast is the human side of the business. It's taking people from a high tech to really to human aspect and being able to transfer our passion, what we're doing in our business and everything that we do. That live broadcast is really is the focal point of what we do. That's the Super Bowl. That's the big presentation. That's showtime. And then if you don't plug into it, it's almost impossible really to build a big business. And let me tell you why. Because if you're not there yourself learning and internalizing the content, that's one thing. The second thing, if your organization, the people that you're bringing to the company, if they don't see in totality the whole system and to work, they don't really know what the system looks like. So it's important. That's why we have the 4 steps. But the broadcast is really the fuel that's really going to bring all the engine pieces together. It's going to make the engine run right. But if you're not plugging into that, that's one of the biggest things that I see that we have to improve. We got to get people on the broadcast. We got to be there first, and then we can't invite somewhere we're not. So we got to make sure that we're plugged into the broadcast because that's a big part of the system. That's the second step to what we do is the presentation. If you're not on the presentation, number one, it tells me that you are not in the business because every time I do a presentation, every time I listen to one, every time I have a guest on one, I get refocused. I get recommitted. I'm ready to redo it again. I'm ready to, it rejuvenates me. So that's number one. Number two, it never shows, you're never really truly connecting your prospects to the whole process. They never see the complete process. So we're training them wrong on the front end before they even get in our business. So it's important that we plug them in to the broadcast. The second step is the presentation. If that part, we can be the best inviters in the world, but if we're not on the presentations and we're not bringing people to those presentations, then there won't be a three-way and there won't be anybody plugged in. But after the presentation, there should be massive phone calls going on. There should be massive three-way calls from everybody that was on that call, the prospects that were on. You should be on the phone with your upline and doing three-way calls and doing those things. But I want to talk about the 4 steps after the presentation, the 4 steps after the presentation. Now, we have our 4 steps in our system, which we all know is invite, present, three-way, plug in. But what are the 4 steps after the broadcast? Okay, what are the 4 steps after the broadcast? Number 1, three-way call. Pick up the phone and do a three-way call with the prospect that you had on the presentation. Step number 2, after they get off the three-way, they got to make a decision to pick a pack. So the second step after the broadcast would be to pick a pack. Three-way would be number 1, do a three-way call, the same call that we do. Hey, would you like best about what you saw or heard on the broadcast? Get your expert on the line, get your expert, get those questions answered for that person. Then they're going to just make a decision of what level they're going to come in at is the second step. So what pack are they coming in? Pro, elite, executive? Now I hear people say, well, go pro or don't go. Well, let me tell you something. Duplication doesn't matter what level. All we know is that when you get 2 and 72 rolling, it doesn't matter if it's elite, it doesn't matter if it's a pro, it doesn't matter if it's executive. Get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. Let me tell you why. Because maybe that person's center of influence don't have $1,499. So I'm not going to exclude them from the opportunity because they don't have $1,499. Maybe they have $750. Maybe their center of influence is $750 in their center of influence in their warm market. Well, guess what? Get that. Run that duplication model at 2 and 72, getting an elite. So we're not, and maybe they don't have $750. Maybe their center of influence is $300. So what? Grab them where they're at and take them where they want to go by using the system. So get 2 and 72, they pick a pack. They pick a pack. So the first step, do a three-way call with them. Second step, they got to decide if they want to come in or not and pick a pack. Third step, get 2. Get 2. We just got to find and ask them, who the sharpest 2 people you know? Who's the sharpest 2 people you know? Okay, step 2, get the sharpest 2 people you know on step 4, the next broadcast. Think about this for a second now. The 4 steps after the broadcast. Number 1, 3-way call with the prospect that just got off. Number 2, they got to make a decision what level of pack they're coming in at. Number 3, who's the sharpest 2 people you know? Who's the sharpest 2 people that prospect knows? We're going to pick up the phone and we're going to do what with them? We're going to invite them to step 4, the next broadcast. See, that's the power of broadcast. That's why we do them multiple times. So if someone comes in at noon, we do a 3-way call with them at 12:30. Let's just give you the scenario. They go up to noon. Maybe they work during the day, but lunch, they're on the lunch broadcast at noon. That's why we do it. And they get off. At 12:30, they're signed up in the business. Okay, they took the executive level. We'll immediately get on the phone with their 2 people and invite them to what? The next broadcast at 4. See, that's the speed behind the system. That's the speed behind the system. And then when those 2 decide they want to jump in, we get their 2, we get them invited into 7. And we get the 2 from the 7 invited into the 9. That's how you use the broadcast to build a high-speed, low-jack business. But if we're not on them, number 1, we're not internalizing the information. Number 2, we're not inviting our prospects so they don't see the whole process. So this slows down their recruiting process. They don't see, touch, and feel the other members of our team so they can get the culture and the dynamics that we've been working on over the last 8 months. They don't feel it. The teamwork and the camaraderie and all the things that we do together, they don't feel it. So it's critical after the broadcast. Number 1, we got to get on them as leaders. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm not saying you got to be on everyone. I'm not on everyone. But am I on everyone that I can be on? Absolutely. Everyone that I can be on, I'm on it. And more importantly, I'm on it not by myself, but I got at least 1 guest. Just imagine if you had 1 guest on every broadcast. Just 1 on every broadcast. That means there's 23 different broadcasts during the week. You're going to have 23 quality exposures. Out of 23 quality exposures, we all know the ratios. 20 to 1 when you're bad, 10 to 1 when you're pretty good, 5 to 1 when you're really good. So if we know that, why are we not playing using the broadcast in our favor? The broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, is a piece of the puzzle that everybody we're sleeping on it. We've got to get the activity level up on the broadcast and after the broadcast is over. We can have the best presenters in the world, but if there's nobody to present to, number 1, the team's not there. The team's not there, that means the prospects aren't there. Because if we don't see it as an important part of our system, they're not going to see it as a part of our system because we haven't created enough value to get them on the presentation. That's why we want to confirm our guest. We want to confirm our guest for everything that we do. Use somebody else to confirm your guest for the broadcast. So those 4 steps after. Number 1, do a 3-way call with your prospect that just watched the broadcast. Number 2, after the 3-way call, they got to make a decision to pick a pack. Doesn't matter. Pro, elite, executive. Number 3, ask them who the sharpest 2 people they know. Pick up the phone, contact them, invite them with your brand new person that just signed up and drive them to what? The next broadcast. The next broadcast. Now, somebody's going to say, well, the Diamond Rush says 25. It does. It says 25. But if I can get the sharpest 2 people in the next broadcast and get them 2 and 72 in bronze in the first 2 or 3 hours of being in the business, are they going to be excited about giving me the other 25 names? Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the speed and velocity behind the system and the way it's designed, the way we put it together for it to work. And if we're not working it that way, we're not going to get the results that we want to get. So that's what I want to share this morning on this call is how to use the broadcast. 4 major events a day, noon, 4, 7, and 9. Are we using them? Now, I'm going to tell you something else. We got to pencil them in our calendar just like they are a sit-down with a prospect because they're that important. They're that important. Those are 4 major times a day that I can consciously pinpoint a time where I'm going to make a conscious effort to grow my income and grow my organization. So I put that in my calendar like everything else, and I build my business around the broadcast. I don't build my life. You follow me? I'm building my business around the broadcast because that's showtime. That's showtime. That's like the Super Bowl. They build the commercials, what? The Super Bowl is built around what? The commercials and the hoopla. Now, we don't have to hype anybody because our products are real, our comp plan's real, our company's real, and we're impacting people's lives. So we don't have to embellish anything. We're just telling the truth of what's happening inside of our company. But it's critical 4 times a day, those are big events that should be in your calendar like a doctor's appointment, like anything else that's important to you that has value in your life. And be on them and build for them. And when we get off of them, the 4 steps are critical. So that's what I want to share this morning on this call, the 4 steps after the broadcast and how to use that broadcast to create speed and velocity in your business. So I appreciate everybody jumping on today, our noon, 4, 7 to 9 p.m. I'm really interested to see who plugs in, who takes the information we learned this morning and apply it to your business. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the balance of your day.